To the Director's Garage Live, rocking the elites today. Welcome. We are doing a true Humpday happy hour hangout. It's a typical Wednesday, and I'm glad to have everybody in and hanging out with us today. Feeling a little better. The steroids that they put me on last week are working. Hearing is probably about 85% on this ear. It's pretty good. It's coming back strong. So there's signs of life, and we're going to get back to regular Director's Garage content before you even know it, because frankly, this thing, I don't think I'm not getting a lot of volume out of this. Am I not getting a lot of volume? What's going on? Barely hear me. How about now? Take two. How did that get down there? Man, I'm trying to create, okay, there's these things you can do called macros. So it's at the push of one button, it does 3 or 4 things at once, like duck the music, do a dissolve, all that stuff. And every time I go and record a macro, it screws something else up. So there you go. Yeah, that's it. That's the deadly macro disease. So glad everybody's here. Let's try to do a take 2 on that. Glad everybody's here today. Welcome to the Director's Garage Happy Hour Hump Day Hangout. It's a full regular 4-H club for once. Getting better. Cough is a lot less. I won't be annoying you like I was last week, nearly as much. The hearing is still a little sketch. It's not quite there yet. I'm not good enough to like do an assessment of a headphone yet. I'm hoping by Friday I can actually lay down a show. That's my goal. My goal is to Friday be able to record something meaningful and do a full episode. I've got so much coming right now. And check out, hey, I got the reel-to-reel fired up over the shoulder there. That's kind of cool looking. I like that. That's a neat look. This thing's like bright as hell. Let's take that down. Hey, that's better. Kind of looks more normal. Gosh, I should check this shot before we go on the air, shouldn't I? Not too much new stuff yet. I'm going to talk about some new things, but I'm not going to reveal everything. Let's turn this light on here. And I'll show you something I bought on Amazon the other day, and it was just kind of like, just cause. I bought this power cable. It was like 40 bucks. But look at the size of this thing. This is like something that, like, if you bought this from like Audio Quest or something, it would cost you like $300, $400, like easy. And look at this beefy, you know, clear plasticky, rah. Look at this. It's from, I got it on Amazon. It's from Audio Crast, which is kind of like, I guess, the poor man's Audio Quest. It's Audio Quest Lite. But it's pretty beefy. I'm like, you know, it'd be pretty cool to do some stuff with this. That'll power something. So funny. That's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, this thing's beefy. We could tie something with that, man. That's awesome. So good. What else we got? I have done in the last week a ton of deals. I've bought stuff. I've traded for stuff. I've sold stuff. It's been like, I wish I was well enough to have been doing this earlier, because it's been a lot of fun, and there's been some horse trading, you know, back and forth, which is kind of like, well, I got this. Well, this is probably worth a little bit more. Can you throw that in? Well, I could throw that in, but what about, you know, like, there's a lot of that kind of back and forth stuff. And it wound up, the deal, I did one deal with a guy in Singapore, and like, the shipping was so astronomical. It was over $400 to send. It wound up being like a really dumb thing to do. I'm a big dumb guy. I do big dumb things. This show is built on stupidity and foolishness. I am your resident idiot after all. But it was so fun because I wound up, we got into this long discussion overseas with this guy in Singapore who is like, has a passion for headphones like me, like the rest of us, like us all. And we were talking about stuff and we started comparing. And then he's like, well, I've got this. And I'm like, well, I really would like to hear that. And he's like, well, what do you have? So I sent him like a long list of stuff and he starts like piecing together. I'm like, well, that's an awful lot. Like maybe we can scale it down and work. And we talked about things that we really liked about things. And that was really cool. And then I made another purchase from a guy on the East Coast, and that'll be here this week. Not going to unbox it right away because I got to get this Audio 46 box into our lives first because that's kind of key. I've had this headphone for over a month, well over a month now, and I feel horrible about it because I got sick and I couldn't, what am I going to open a box and I can't hear anything, right? So that's good. But I've got this other thing coming in, and then it made me like I was curious about this thing so I reached out to the manufacturer who's just a guy, and this guy who like is like a hyper designer of shit, and I get into this long back and forth and I'm like learning all this shit and I'm going, this is gonna be cool. But nothing's here yet. so there's that. So I've got that going on. I've got a new headphone. Let's see, 2 new headphones coming in that I bought. I spent the week. I did, as my hearing was coming back, I started doing more music listening, and I was listening to some classical the other night. I posted some of this on the community page. I was like listening to classical one night, and I pulled out. I was listening to electrostatics, and my Blue Hawaii's for sale, but I still like the electrostatic sound. I got the carbons back here. Just checking those out. And, I'm not done with electrostatics. I mean, even if I sell the carbon, I'm not done with electrostatics. I got to work that out still. But I'm like, that's exciting. It's like, it was really a cool way to spend an evening. I was listening to like Bartok and like some great symphonies that had a lot of big, huge horn section in them, and it's like a lot of horns and trumpets and all that stuff. It was just great. It was a great night. And then I had another night where I fired up did a big listening session on the reel-to-reel, and I was doing the reel-to-reel, and I was kind of flipping between a bunch of headphones, and eventually I settled on the Elites here. I was listening to the Elites a lot that night. Elites in the Caldera. Caldera was a little forward, like mid-forward, and I was like trying to decide what I liked the most. So I was like listening to the Susvara for a bit, and I was listening to, and I'm still like not perfect on the hearing anyway. But so take the assessment with a grain of salt. But I was like listening, and I wound up like the Elites wound up being a really good compromise, and it gave me this really great session. I had a great night of listening, and I listened to the whole Jazz in the Pawn Shop tape. Another night I did the Miles thing. It was the kind of blue reel-to-reel. I did that on a night, and just fun, just really fun stuff. Had some great listening experiences. Really enjoyed it. What have you guys been listening to? What are you guys up to? We're going to go to the chat in just a second. I don't have much to show off today. This is just kind of hanging out. I'm waiting for the hearing to finish up resolving so I can do the Audio 46. I've got a big unboxing on. I'm going to shoot the one unboxing tentatively on Friday. I may shoot 2 episodes that day, or 3. No, I don't think I can do 3 in a day. That's my voice goes. But I might do 2 episodes because something major is coming on Friday. So I got to get it shot and in the system because I want it for other reviews. So it's the DAC, guys. The DAC is coming on Friday. The new DAC, and it's out there. It's nothing anybody's guessed. It's totally just bitching. I'm very excited. And so that's coming. So I got a lot to do. I've got a lot of plans ahead. I've got many, and then I've got shows lined up. One of the headphones I picked up is a classic, but a great world-class headphone. It's fantastic. Can't wait to get that going. So let's go from the top. Can't hear me. The audio's low. Choose, everybody. I was just keeping you on your toes. Happy Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. Yeah, I did a bunch of shipping too. Oh, and I was going to do some Expanse listening. And on Sunday, I had the Expanse was sitting here. I had the new cable on it that I showed off last week. We unboxed on Friday. And I just went to put them back in their case, and I took the cable off, and the entire mechanism, which would be like this. See how you got the connector there? When I just pulled the latch and I pulled it out, the entire connector on the underside of this. Let's see if I can show it in the overhead. Where's that? Hey, switcher. There you go. The entire mechanism right here broke. It pulled right out of the headphone. So it was like sticking out about that far right there. And I'm like, well, that's not how it's supposed to look. That seems wrong. So sent a message into, I took a photo of it and sent it to Dan Clark service. Online, I had to, they made me register the headphones. I'm terrible about registering products. You always should do that, kids. Yeah, they're like, yeah, that's a problem. That's not the way it should be. Box it up, send it to us, and we'll send it back to you fixed. So they actually contacted me today, just a day after they got it. They got it yesterday. Contacted me today saying they're going to send it back to me tomorrow. So that's how fast they were responding to the RMA. So that's really good. That's nice to hear that the company's that much on it. So there we go. Kevin Jock says, "Oh, the music track's pretty loud." You guys are never happy, man. You're never happy. Nah, we like that. I like a loud music track. Keep the mood going. It looked good, brother. Yeah, and we're down like I'm down like well over 20 pounds now, and I'm still going. I'm on the rabbit diet, eating mostly like all veggies and greens and boring salads and shit. But it's not very fun. It ain't my hot chicken. There's no hot chicken. There's no pizza. No pizza in the director's garage. Been a long time. But we're getting there. We're gonna get healthy, and then I'm gonna eat all the pizza again. Get fat again. Do it all over. No, we'll be doing all right. We're gonna be doing better, and then that's my commitment to myself. And I want to be around a little while. And there were some scary things that happened in the last 2 weeks, and some heart stuff. We're gonna get a heart scan soon, just to get a whole overview, like a detailed overview. Looked good though to the heart cardiologist. He's not concerned. Isn't worried about it. But there was a moment, my blood pressure shot way up to dangerous levels, and that would have been a very different director's garage if I've got a stroke. That's bad news. That is bad news. Okay, Kevin Jock said he had a big week of movement. Sold a ZMF Aeolus and bought a D8000 Pro. Headphone. I'm still on my short list. Damn, I got to get that in here. All right, we're working on it. And now he's looking to possibly move his HE-1000 V2, the headphone I most regret selling, for a Verite closed. Still haven't heard the Verite closed. Not on the shorter list anymore, that now that we have the Atrium closed, because I kind of preferred the Atrium over the Verite open. Thinking goes, I'm probably going to like the Verite closed. I'm sorry, the Atrium closed over the Verite closed. But we'll see. Maybe I get to do them both. Wouldn't that be something? That'd be a good show. Richard Spector says that weight loss is noticeable. Yeah, the chin. The chin is the first thing. Like when I lose weight, like the last thing to go is the gut, and the gut is the thing I most want to lose. But it never goes that way. I always lose this first. My head gets really thin and svelte. Can I say svelte on television? Cheers, everybody. Cheers to you all. Love the 8K. Yeah, the 8000. Damn. Shortlist, boys. Kevin Jock says he hasn't heard it yet, so it was a blind buy. I do so many blind buys, it's stupid. Of course, I told you, this is a stupid show. So, yeah, I don't, but I do it. I'm curious. Everybody's saying great things. I want to hear it. And then I go, okay. Or I go, damn, they were right. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Good to see you back on live. Ken, cheers to you, buddy. Yeah, we were back on live last Friday. We did the coughing show. It's like every fourth word was a cough or a hack or something. And I'm doing much better from the coughing department, fortunately. And they put me on the right meds for now, and things have progressed. I just got to get rid of, like, there's that last 10% that's a little funky. Like, if I pop my ears, it sounds fairly normal, but then it over the course of about a minute, it starts getting weird again. So it's like, it's so close to being totally gone. It's just a matter of time. So there you go. Nephilim 81 says, hi guys, let's get into the greatest hobby of all, music listening. Anybody digging the new Metallica? I haven't heard the new Metallica yet. I've just been all over the map with my listening, and what was the classical night about? Like, I never talk classical music on this show, and I just had like a night where I'm like, I just want to chill out to like some symphony, like just hear some symphony, and I played I loaded up a bunch of shit on Tidal, and I just played symphony all night long. It was great. It was so chill. Me and my water. I'm living now. I'm living life again. Me and my water. It's too fun. Okay, yeah. Minus the title track is really good, actually. I haven't heard it. I'll put that on the list, but I did and yesterday I had a shoot with a K-pop band, a new one, and they're just touring America for the first time, and they're getting out there, and they had a huge crowd at the Honda Center last night, called NCT Dream was the name of them. And we were there for the sound check. I didn't stay for the concert. Me and a bunch of young teenage girls in green neon half shirts. It wasn't going to work. So yeah, but I did hear, and they were good. I mean, it was interesting. It's kind of like hip hop crossed with K-pop, and there's some hip hop stuff going on. But I put my shameless confession is this ear is so messed up, and I really don't want to mess my hearing up any further. And we were right on the stage, so I was listening to my Noble Ragnar, Viking Ragnar. I put those in. I dead plugged them. Just put them in my ears, and because I have the foam on those, and it was like I took a good 30 dB off the volume of the concert, and was perfectly happy not hearing them in all their auditory greatness. I didn't need the pain, and I didn't need to challenge my hearing at this stage of the game. I'm just getting it back. We're not going to let a bunch of young kids with their rap, hip hop, K-pop music screw up my hearing again. Damn you kids! Get out of my lawn! Get off my lawn! That's so silly. Okay. Hipster Cows is excited to see what's coming next for eStats. Recently bought the SRM D50. And I'm curious about the new Dan Clark. What's it called? Shit. What's it called? What's the new Dan Clark, guys? I think it's on Audio 46. I'm just gonna call it up real quick. It's called I'll never forget it. It's my favorite headphone ever. It's called the Carina. It's like it just rolls off the tongue. Good Lord. So yeah, I'm curious about the Carina. I'd love to get that there. You can shoot the unboxing right now. Well, I could shoot the Audio 46 unboxing. I got to do like a thing with them though. I don't like selling them short, and it's got to be a big show. I like doing a big show for Audio 46. They treat me well. I got to treat them well and do a big episode. I can't just rip things open. That's not fair to them. Okay, Baltic 3, I don't know what that is. Ken Workshop says, did some gear swapping here too. He bought the Caldera. Good move, Ken Workshop. Thanks for your recommendation and review. Yeah, you're not going to be sorry. That is like, that's a great, that's just, I mean, I think that, my review is pretty obvious. And my review is pretty obvious. I super enjoyed that headphone. And I was listening to it the other day. It just came out with the reel-to-reel, and I was listening to Jazz the Pawn Shop. It just was a touch more mid-forward than the Elite. So I kind of like the way the Elite was tucked in a little more just for that recording. We try different things, different stuff. He got a DCS DAC, I bet. Something off the wall. It's something off the wall, boys. It's something off the wall. I'm psyched and psyched. You'll see it before you know it. That'll be coming up. But it's fun. This is the fun part, man. It's like it's gonna reshape my my universe here. And I don't think I reported this. I didn't report this in the last live stream, but when I was doing classical night, I was listening through the Macintosh. I've been using the Macintosh's DAC for listening. And I mean, it's not as good as, it's not going to compete with my Chord Hugo TT2 and the M-Scaler stack that I had here. It can't do that. It's just not. It's a product from like 2019, 20 or so roughly. So it's a couple years old, but it's probably an off-the-shelf jack DAC chip. I don't know how Macintosh does their digital stick, but it's still Macintosh. They're not going to do a bad DAC in their products. I mean, that's just not Macintosh. They do good stuff, and it was bad. It was like, I mean, there just wasn't much detail on it. So I was really like, this doesn't sound great. And I know my hearing's a little off still. So I'm like, maybe it's just the hearing or whatever. So what I did was I did the next best thing. Now I still have the Hugo TT1, which is a formidable DAC. The TT2, obviously it's going to be better. It's got a lot more taps, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. But the TT1 is a really good DAC still. And I've had it here. It's been driving my Genelex. It's been my listening, my room DAC. I mean, DAC for editing, DAC for just listening to music off, playing it in the room if I'm not on headphones. That everything goes through the TT1 because I still respect it. It's still a great DAC. So I unwired it from the playback system because we can, and I'm stupid and bored and nothing else going on in my world. So I disconnected it from the Mackie, which is sort of just the volume control, and I wired it into the Blue Hawaii, and it was a night and day difference. I was shocked at how inferior the Macintosh DAC stage was. Now I still use the Macintosh for preamping the reel-to-reel DAC, and it was also my phono-pre. They've got good phono-pre's. But the DAC stage was lacking, surprisingly lacking. I was shocked at how much better the TT1 was than the DAC stage on that. And now we're getting a new DAC in, which is going to just rock everybody's world. It's going to rock my world. I'm excited. So Nephilim81 says, breaking news, the D8000 from Final Audio cures hearing loss. It's that good. Then I definitely need one if it can clear up this here. Good Lord, guys, it's been such a journey. It's been so painful. Ryan Dietz is cheersing everybody with a beer. Let's all cheers Ryan Dietz right back. Michael P says, hello, everyone. I just received a 64 Audio U12T today, and he's over the moon with how good they sound. Did I have the U12T? I think I had the U12T. Wasn't that one of the first batch of headphones I bought? It's the orange one. I had the orange one, whatever that is. Is that the U12T? Let's go check it out real quick. Just because we can. Go to 64 Audio. Sorry. I'm going to do this offline. I'm not going to, I don't waste your time. I had the U18T. The U12T is the $2,000 one. Okay. Yeah, I like that headphone. It was, I wished it had deeper bass. That was my take on that. And I'm a little bit of a bass head, boys. I'm shameless that way. And I still want to buy a Sultan again because I miss the bass response of the Sultan. Even though technically the Viking Ragnar is a more detailed and a more refined IEM. For my personal listening taste, I still like the Sultan, and I'm pretty shameless about it. Like, I admit it's not technical, but I also say that these aren't the most technically advanced headphone you'll have. I mean, the Caldera and the Abyss 1266 TC and the Susvara all run circles around this technically, but I probably enjoy these headphones more than all of those because of their comfort and because of their smoothness and their incredible bass response. It's the Elites are one of my very favorite headphones, even though technically they don't wow me in the way that the Caldera and the Susvara and some of these other ones do. So yeah, that's something. Gonna get back on the bike. Yes, that's part of the plan, Ken. In the long run, the issue right now is my garage is loaded with house stuff because we're trying to sell and move and sell the place. So we keep showing it, and we moved everything into the garage. So that was my workout space. I had the bicycle and a trainer set up in there with something called Zwift. If you've never heard of it, go look it up. It's pretty cool. And I would, I'd blast music in the garage and get on and do Zwift for an hour and come out of it a sweaty puddle mess. And that was a really good workout. That was a good thing for me to do. But the garage is completely out of commission right now. You can barely walk through it. It's so loaded. So, that's just a matter of I got to get the space back and get the ability to spread things out and unpack and put things back on the shelves instead of sitting in boxes in the garage. My whole record collection is out of the house because you can't show a house with a ton of records. People will think you're just a pack rat, which, guilty. But yeah, I want to get back on the bike. That's totally, I know I could do some street riding too, but the bikes are all hung up from the rafters and tucked away in back, and getting them out and, finding the air pump and all that stuff in the mess. It's probably not going to happen. I'm going to be doing a lot of walking though, and probably better for me to start with some lower impact shit like walking up the hill. I'm in the hills, and there are tremendous hills to climb here, and trails and hiking trails and stuff. And you can have loose on those and work up a good sweat just doing that. So I'm probably going to start with that, and then if I can get on the bike at some point, that would be great too. But we're probably going to be moved first before I can get a workout center set up like I had. So great. I had a 50-inch television, LCD, an old plasma screen in the garage, a Pioneer Elite, if anybody remembers the Pioneer Elites, how good they were. And it was just running Zwift for me. So I could do a bicycle in the Zwift world. It was so cool. I love Zwift. It's so fun. Anyway, it's the horrible Corina. Yeah, is it horrible, Emo? Is that what you're hearing? I haven't heard it. I'm like, I was thinking, gosh, they did the Vos, and the Vos was reasonable, and so I assumed the Corina would build on that and get better. Are you hearing different? Nephilim says it's a Gran Torino reference. I love that movie. Oh, there you go. Go on the bike. Okay. I'm a step behind everybody here. Sorry. Maybe stay away from my tubes. Okay. Hipster Cow says I did like a lot of inside joking going on here, and I just like went right over my head there for a second. Now I'm starting to catch up. I get it. Okay. Hipster Cow says, have you heard the DAC you bought, or are you going in blind? Blind, boys. We're going in blind. I have researched. I've done my research. I've done my diligence. I have reason upon reason for what I bought, and I considered so many other options, and I worked it down, and I worked the budget, and it was a lot of consideration, and I made the choice that I think is going to make me most happy. And some people are gonna think I'm like crazy, and that's okay. No, it's fun. It's fun. I'm super excited. It won't be long. You'll know like next week or something, or a week after. It's not gonna be long. So yeah, it's exciting. But I did a ton of research, and I made a lot of calls. I've made a lot of calls or emails, texts and stuff with people, friends and people who are knowledgeable, and then just doing my own research, and so I did the same thing with this other product I bought too, all the way back to and in that case I actually went to the designer, and that was so cool because I've learned a ton from talking to the guy who actually built the thing. I'm like, that's bitchin'. That's so invaluable. So invaluable. Like, what a resource. And I don't know if it was the show or whatever, but I just approached, and next thing you know, we're in this, we're half minutes long conversation back and forth. And I wound up buying something, and I mean, like, it's great. It's great. It's like, it's so cool. We're going to have a good month around the Director's Garage. Need that 15%. But Friday, I'm hoping I'm with the plan. And then we'll do our next episode, which will be the Audio 46. And then after that, we'll do the DAC. And then we're moving into some stuff. Then we're jumping into the next generation of some things around here. And one of I just can't wait to reveal the deal I pulled off. That's going to be the most fun. That's going to be a fun episode too. So much coming. Stay tuned. It's going to be great. I swear to God. And we'll keep doing this too. It's just fun too. I love doing this. Caldera Tuning, Zach has a mesh that he thinks, if he recalls, affects how forward it is. It's the mantle mesh. Yeah, it was just, I don't know. I don't remember seeing the video from Zach on the Caldera. I just know that it was playing to my ears, as they are in this state, a little mid-forward on classical music. Sorry, it was the jazz. It was the jazz at the pawn shop. And so I kind of liked the way the clarinet and the sax were pulled a little bit back into line, particularly on Jazz at the Pawn Shop, because you know how they've got the clarinet on that track and on those tracks, and the xylophones and all that. And the TC, the Abyss, played too wide for that intimate recording, and how close it was. It just played too open. And the Susvara was close, was pretty close. Like I was doing a lot of Susvara listening. The Caldera was a little on the mid-forward side, and then I had settled on, but I was also doing a lot of ESTAT listening with, because nobody's bought this yet, so it's still here. And I did a lot of ESTAT listening and really got my game going again on ESTATs. Like I got to keep that ball rolling because I love the sound, but I still am not there on the overall sound, and that'll affect things I think, you know, going forward too. Like I'm not convinced that this amp has the power I would want in an electrostatic amp. Although it's a great sounding amp, like the sound of the amp is great, I just don't know that it has the power I want. So that was a whole rat hole, and that'll come out, and you know, as I roll these episodes out too. How's the house hunt going? Well, boys, this house is getting closer to being sold. We've now, like, the first couple weeks, nothing. Like, we had nothing going on here with the director's garage and the homestead here. We couldn't get anybody to bid, and so you know, we did a little price drop, slight, not much, and suddenly we've gotten 2 or 3 people that are interested. So we may have a couple of offers this week on this house. The problem we've had is the house, finding a house we want to go into, because we've only found and I mean, we have looked at dozens of houses, you know, in the areas that we're interested in, and we found 2 so far, and one of them, our house wasn't even on the market yet when we found it, and it's kind of what tipped all of this off, because we wanted this other house, and we figured out where all of our stuff would go in this house, and it was so fantastic, and somebody bid on it and got it before we could get our stuff in a row, so we could properly take all the contingencies off and get our bid in. So we were really depressed about that. Then we found another house, but it's on the market for too much money right now. They're asking too much, and it's too much for what the neighborhood is. So we placed a competitive bid, and we are still a great distance apart. So it doesn't look like that deal's going to happen unless that owner has a come to Jesus moment where he's like, this thing isn't moving, I'm not getting any offers, and these people made me a good offer, a fair offer, but it's not the number that he wants. And I guess it's like headphones. You know, when you go to sell a headphone, it's like some people are like, well, I paid, and I'm like, I did this the other day. Somebody approached me, and you know, call me whatever you want to call me. Somebody approached me about the Susvara, and he said, hey, I'll give you $3,400 for your Susvara. And maybe that's fair, and maybe it's not in today's market. I don't know, in fairness, what the Susvaras have been actually selling for, but I'm into the Susvara for $4,200. I don't mind losing money on the headphones. I'm going to lose money on almost anything I resell, and I'm fine with that. I don't think I've made money on anything I've resold. I've always sold it at a discount, you know, but whatever. But it was too much. It was like I would be taking an $800 hit on a headphone that's still relevant, and it's still good. And at $4,000 or 38 or, you know, whatever, something like that, somebody's still getting a hell of a deal on a $6,000 headphone on a lightly used, you know, it's a used set. I mean, there's a few signs of wear, but pretty much, hang on, because I love going off camera. I mean, let's look, I'll go to the overhead. Well, why am I on mixer? Oh, because I pulled the music down a little bit. This is still I mean, the signs of wear on this is minimal. I mean, there's a light, very, you know, a hairline little something there, but like, I mean, these things are in excellent condition. So it's not like you're getting, like, this is not an obviously well-worn set. This set is, and then I got the box for it and the original, you know, cardboard box for it. I mean, it comes with everything. So I was like, knocking, you know, me taking an $800 hit, and I'm trying to, you know, do right by the show too, which is, you know, I've got to set myself up for another purchase, you know, because I still have things that I want to set up and buy. And part of the point of moving this headphone is that so I can buy something else. It's not like I'm going to pocket the money. It's going back into the show so we can do more stuff and do more interesting shows. It's a long analogy, but but it's sort of what's going on with this house. You know, the guy bought it a couple of years ago, and he's trying to profit on the house, like get a big profit out of the house, when he didn't do any work on it. If anything, he stripped parts out of the house, like took some fixtures out of the house. It needs work, and he's trying to sell it for a substantial profit. And in the market, since he bought it 2 years ago, has gone down here in LA. So if anything, it should be cheaper than what he bought it for. We're even offering, we're matching, we're beating what he paid for the house, and it's still not good enough. He wants to make a big profit. And I'm like, I can't help you. Like, it would be just overpaying for what it is. Now, somebody may come along and they may see what we see in it, and, you know, and they'll be willing to meet his number. Just like somebody may come along and really want this headphone because I've reviewed it. They know me and they know how I care for things, and they know they're going to get what they're going to get. And it comes with an extra cable. It comes with a custom cable from Dyson Audio. It's a nice cable, cloth wrapped and stuff. I've been using that because I've never even used the original cables on this, and that comes with the original cables too. But, you know, they're going to have to at least get me close to, you know, something that makes it worth me selling these. And, you know, I've seen, I got a pretty good idea of what they're going for, but 34, you know, to me, 3,400 was just, it was going to take an $800 hit. And I'm like, I owe this show more than that. I've got to try and do better. So that's kind of where I'm at. And that's kind of where I'm at with the house. It's like, we do have a house that we're interested in. We're not together on the price, and then we may never get together with this guy on the price if he's hell-bent on getting a certain number, because the market is continuing to drop here because there are houses going on the market that are already coming down in price and this guy's had his house on the market for like 3 or 4 months. So that's a long time. So, and Anthony said something like, you know, it's a silver one. I kind of got off on a sidetrack. I'm sorry, guys. But I thought I'd just, you know, run you through the house Susvara analogy. Because I can make an analogy out of anything. Yes, it's a Zwifter, mostly run, but definitely a bike guy on the trailers. Oh, yeah. A fellow Zwifter. So share my Zwift handle. I will. I don't even remember what it is. I'll look it up and I'll send it to you. It's been a minute since I've been on Zwift. But I will. I'll post it somewhere. Or I'll post it in the community page or something. His wife and he tried so hard to love it in New York City for the Carina. Oh, you guys listened to the Carina, but it just didn't do it for you, ML. I get it. There's a company in the U.S. that makes custom tips for the U12T, if you want to go down that route. Yeah, I thought the U12T was a good IEM. It lacked the bass that I like in an IEM. It had good detail though, great detail. But it's an all-BA. It's kind of a headphone that needs a revision, if I'm honest. In just my feeling, I felt like it's gotten a little behind the curve in the way that the Andromeda from Campfire has gotten a little behind the curve. The all-BA thing is, you know, we've moved a great deal away from that on the higher end stuff. And at $2,000, you can get into some pretty exotic sounding headphones, IEMs. And that's not to say the U12T isn't great. And I know of 3 or 4 people that say it's the best IEM. So, you know, take that, you know, for what it's worth. I totally respect their opinions. I just like, I like something that punches down low, and especially in an IEM, I want something that really wows me down in the bass, because IEMs tend to be a little thinner. And it's hard to get that bass. And some of these dual dynamic driver IEMs, I want to hear that Empire Ears Evo, because that's got a healthy bottom end. I know it does. and they're giant chambers too. If you look at that IEM, it's hysterical. And so I think that's a headphone that I would love to get in here. An IEM I'd love to get in here or find a deal on or something just to try them out. Mickey Dare says he thinks it's the TA-DAC200. It might be. It could be. A lot of praise for that going on. The Weiss, that was in the running. 501, 502. Dana Fripps, Terminator, that was in the running. Certainly the Hollow May, the Hollow Audio May. That DAC is, I mean, that's world-class. All these are world-class DACs. They're not going to go wrong. And probably this much separating them, they're all so good. Cord Dave, but you know, I mean, I think you know that I'm sort of looking for a different sound than the Cord sound for a while. I want to get into some different tech on the DAC, so I'll tell you it's not the Dave. I did not buy a Dave, but it is high end. I definitely did not sell short where I went with this thing. So there's a lot of good DACs out there, a lot of super good DACs out there. So excited to, you know, it's going to be exciting to do, and it's all part of the fun of it. You know what I mean? So ML, surprised to hear that, but again, he's hearing that from many that the Yamaha sucks. Really, I've been reading great stuff about that. Now I've been hearing mixed stuff about the new Focal. Like it doesn't do enough of a difference off of the old Focal. That, and I think they just messed the styling up so bad. I know it's got a metal grill on the outside, but the glossy black paint job they put on that grill looks like plastic. It looks like plastic in person. It looks like plastic in all the photos, and it just looks cheap. And I'm like, you screwed up and raise the price on a beautiful headphone that was a great headphone anyway. You know what I mean? So that was something. I got to check something real quick. Hang on. Didn't hear back. Okay, all good. Just kidding. I did work today from home. Wrote some scripts and stuff. Wow, Yamaha. Not good reviews on that, huh? I've heard, yeah, you know, I've heard, and I had a very frank, discussion with somebody about amps, and like he listed like 4 or 5 amps that he liked scrap heap material, like was really critical of them. I'm like, wow, these are stuff that a lot of people like. I'm like, ooh, so interesting stuff, spicy takes on stuff. Nephilim says we got the Rockna Wave Light. That is his DAC guess. Okay, everybody get your DAC guess. We can start a pool. He was shocked when he heard it on 2 different amps and he couldn't get it to work well on either of us. Wow. Okay. So Jamel's got some bad marks on the Carina. Okay. The Lampizator, along with 1,000 other guesses. Yeah, you get the square up in the corner, hipster cow. He knows a couple of dealers that will go down to $3,750 for this Susvara, so maybe I'm a little high. So I don't know. People are setting the rate, asking rate. Yeah, I don't know. It was just it was like $3,400. I'm like, that's $800 less. I would take an $800 hit on that. I'm like, it's too much. So, U.S. Audio Mart. Yeah, it's on U.S. Audio Mart right now. So is the blue thing back here, the blue Hawaii. Yeah, so I put them on both. It's both it's on both. Susvara is a great reference to keep around if you want and can. Yeah, it's just the headphone that I can most. It's the expensive headphone that I can most move on from, that I'm not upset with moving on from. And look, again, if I ever want the Susvara back, I'll just go out and buy another Susvara, because it's just stuff. These are all things, and I'm not attached to any of them. I mean, seriously, like if I'd sell all of them off tomorrow if I needed the money to buy a house, and I'll just do the show with with like, you know, a pair of AKGs or something. The old mixing, the wire, or I'll pull out the old Grados. We'll do the whole show on the Grado 320. You know? It's just I've run these as far as I want to run them, and I've done enough comparisons against the Caldera to know that I prefer the Caldera myself. I'm not saying that the Susvara is worse than the Caldera. What I'm saying is that I'm more interested in the sound out of the Caldera and keeping that around than I am the Susvara. I've had these for a long time. I know exactly how they sound. I will not forget this sound and what it is and how special it is. At the same time, I'm not going to be upset to not have these at my avail 24/7 because, frankly, I don't pull them out that often. I don't use them that much. I use the Caldera all the time. I use the Atrium all the time. I don't even use the 1266TC all the time, but that's got its own problems with me selling because if I sell that, it makes no sense for me to keep the stand, which is the room stand that's custom designed for the Abyss, and it makes no sense for me to keep the cable, which is a $2,000+ superconductor cable that I paid new for. So, and although I got a really good deal on the headphone, I've got all this other stuff that goes with it that I don't even know how I can put a fair price and get anything close to what I would want to get out of it. And I still love the headphone. It's still my top ranked headphone overall, you know, in the absence of having done a shootout with the new headphones that are here. And I've got new stuff coming that it's also going to, and I got to do the Expanse. I have got to do the detailed review of the Expanse still. And I want to spend time with the Expanse and really push it and find its edges and find out where it's, you know, what works well with it and what doesn't. I'm super excited to spend time with the Expanse. I just haven't had, you know, clear enough hearing to do much with it. So yes, the Susvara would be a great can to keep around, but it's the headphone I can most do away with right now. I feel I would least miss this headphone. I've got to put the Fostex TH-X00 Ebony up, and I'll just sell those for what I got. I think got them for $500 or something. It has a little nick in it, but who cares? It's an older headphone, but it's still, you know, the best, what many people consider to be the best iteration of that TH-X00, which was it's still a mind-blowing headphone today. There's so many good old headphones out there that people overlook because of time. And I still have the mahogany that I'm keeping because it's the headphone that I most enjoy of those three. But the Ebonies will sell upwards of $700. I saw one listed for $1,000 the other day. I don't know if they'll get it. But they did say I did see a PM sent in the list. So we'll see. But that's a headphone I could do away with because it's just sitting in a bag right now. I'm not doing that. Anything with, I think those are the major ones I could go with. Can I get rid of an Audeze? I could probably do something with the LCD-5 too because I'm not using that all that often. I still go to it. I love it on jazz, but I think that's a headphone that I would probably sacrifice somewhere, sometime. And may still, so that's good. So you know, it's all good stuff. I love the LCD-4. That's going nowhere. That I got a great deal on that headphone. I can sell it tomorrow for what I paid for it, but I just love the headphone. I was shocked at how much I loved the LCD-4, and still to this day, it's a headphone that puts a smile on my face every time I wear it. It's just like the Atrium. There's something about that build, about the heftiness of it, and about the authority with which it attacks bass that I'm just like, I love that headphone. I still love the LCD-4. So cool. Be careful buying and selling on Head-Fi presently. There have been a lot of scams with old accounts being hacked into. Okay, well, that's good to know. If this trade doesn't work, but I think it will, because the guy sent me like packing shots, and I sent him packing shots too. This trade, it's so good. It's so great. It's so great, guys. It's like, it's the dumbest thing and the coolest thing at the same time, but so fun, just fun. Ken Workshop, cool. Thanks. Hope sees me on Zwift. Yeah, I'll put it up there as soon as I'm on. Off to pick up his car from the engine builder. The engine blow up, dude? Wait a minute. Ken, get your engine fixed before you buy another headphone. I gotta go drop mine off too. I gotta get some stuff done. Got a recall notice the other day. I'm gonna do that before I go. I've got a trip coming up in May. I'm going to London for the coronation. So I'm going to be bringing something with me on that trip, headphone wise. Might be the Lyric I bring with me. That'd be it's a good travel headphone. Or I could bring the Expanse with me, because that, you know, it's up nice and small. I'm going to do something for that trip though. I got to pack some for that. But I'm going to put the car in to the shop before I go on that trip, so it gets fixed while I'm gone. Get it back. Local dealer refuses to sell his last Focal Utopia 2020 because he thinks the newer one sounds so much worse. That's interesting. That much worse. I haven't heard anybody say it sounds worse. I just heard that the improvement was marginal. Adnan sold his Susvara last week. Not missing it, but I'll always admire it. Yeah, and that's how I feel. I have a lot of admiration for this headphone. This has been a long story on this show, a long-running storyline. You know, I think of headphones a little bit differently than I think some other people, most people. Holly's here, wants to go out. Want to go outside, Holly? He's just staring at the crack in the door, like it will somehow magically open. Go ahead. The world awaits your exit. I think of each headphone as sort of their own story, and every headphone sort of tells me a story, tells you a story too, when we're investigating it, when we're looking at it, when we're considering it, and looking at what it does well and what it doesn't do well, and you know, all those things. The story of the Susvara, as I reconnect the ear pad, looks like it came out. The story of the Susvara has been a long one. We've done months of, you know, shows on this thing, and it's been quite a story. But I just think that we've sort of reached the end of this story. So, you know, it's time to, and I've got other things other stories for this show to pursue. So I want to get to those stories. And part of that is, you know, taking the funds. This is sitting on a lot of money that could go toward other projects and other things and other experiences and other stories to bring you guys. And that's why I'm thinking that's the headphone to get rid of. I mean, these are pretty. This is the best. I don't love the build on these because I think it's for a $6,000 headphone. That's a little loosey-goosey. It's just the way they build it. But it's a pretty headphone. There's no question about that. I mean, it's a nice looking headphone. Beautiful, even. There you go. Susvara. Everybody stare at the Susvara for a second. Whoa. I mean, that's really, really quite nice. It's pretty, and you know, the wood. We remember when back in the day with the V1 HE-1000s, the wood was separating from the metal on those things and from the headband. It's like, whoa, dude. And how far has HiFiman come since those days? You know, pretty cool. Pretty cool. That's a story in itself, you know. Great stuff. Hey, Michael, it's Susvara. We did that one. His local dealer refuses to sell his last because it sounds significantly worse. Didn't we just do it? Hipster Kyle, you posted the same thing twice. You're confusing me, man. I'm a man with one ear still. Whatever. Guys, opinion time. $2,300 for the new Pass Labs HPA1. Should he pull the trigger? Chime in. I haven't heard it. I don't know enough about Pass Labs. It's not a brand that I've spent any time pursuing. It's something that I would have to go to. You know, I'd have to hear in like an audio show or whatever. What do you guys think? HPA 1 for $2,300. Chime in, everybody. Let them know. I always say spend the money. Because enabler. Yeah. Anthony Behrman, will I have some free time in London? I never know. My last trip was for the Queen's funeral, and we had no time. And I had COVID, which was my little gift to the UK. There with COVID, or I caught COVID while I was there or something. I don't know. Oh my God, it was such a mess. It was such an ugly week. I was so sick and running like crazy and wearing a mask everywhere and brutal. But yes, Anthony, I don't know. I may, but we tend to fill up our time going to, you know, football matches and Gordon Ramsay restaurants. Gordon, it's just us again. Can you let us in? Oh, the diet. The diet's going to suffer when I get to London. Took up for a week. I'm going to take a week off the diet so I can go enjoy London. Sitting here banging into the desk. How you guys doing? What else is going on with your world? So I'm going to be shooting, I'm going to be shooting the next episode. My plan is to shoot Friday. I'm hoping the remainder of this will have cleared out by then. Looks like we're slowing down here. I may wind up wrapping the show here a little bit. Unless we get a big influx of questions and comments. But I'm going to be shooting the next episode, I believe, on Friday. I'll work on it over the weekend. Probably get it out mid next week. And then I'm also thinking about shooting a second show on Friday because the DAC, and you guys want to know what that is. So I will shoot an unboxing of the DAC. Probably more of like a features thing, and we'll talk about my decision and why it won't be as, pardon me burping, production intense as some of the other episodes because I want to get it done and get it out and let you guys know what it is and, and move on from that. And we'll, I can do another episode on it or something down the line, which is more like eye candy kind of episode. But I'm gonna try and get that out sooner and just do a shorter turnaround on that. The next episode will be a full-blown episode for sure because it's Audio 46. I love them, and I can't wait to see what they've sent. And I've been, anxious. I got an idea, but I don't know for sure. And I'm sure it's something that we're all going to enjoy checking out anyway, because they never said anything that's like, oh, what were they thinking? So it's going to be a good episode. And then so it'll be a blind what's in the box, and then we're going to do the unboxing of the DAC, and then after that we'll see what's gotten here yet, because I've got so much coming from so many different places. It's just a matter of what's going to show up on my doorstep and when, and then we'll start checking it out. So good. Anthony says if you do Harrods London, they have a listening room with the latest IEMs from Noble, Empire Ears. I would go for the Empire Ears for sure. I've heard most of the Noble offerings, although there's a couple of the Genghis Kubla Khans and stuff like that I have not heard. And Noble Empires, but no listening room. So I'll check that out. If we're over Harrods Way, I think we're staying somewhere near Embankment. I believe that's sort of our area, our territory we're going to be at. If they're keeping that. Last time they put us in Leicester Square, which is too touristy. It's like it was not the ideal place. The only nice thing about Leicester Square is that you can get on the tube quickly, and that's nice. That because the tube gets best. London is the best town on the planet for public transportation because you can get anywhere on the tube in about 15 minutes, like tops at most, and some places are like 8 minutes. Like it's the best town for getting around. Period. Nephilim says, man, he keeps forgetting. Many really don't know about Pass Labs HP1. I've read about it, but I haven't seen it. One of the amps that I almost got in here was the LTAZ10E. That deal fell through this week. That's one of the paths not taken. And it's just because I've heard good things about it, and I had an opportunity to potentially have someone send it to me to listen to. But then he was like, I want you to buy it. And I'm like, that's an amp that I have strong fears is a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And that worries me as a consumer when, and as a fan and as an enthusiast, when somebody comes out with an amp that does tube amplification, integrated amp work, electrostat driving, like that's just a red flag to me. And maybe it's unfounded. Maybe it's the greatest thing ever. And the beefiness of that amp is impressive. But it was not something I wanted to take a chance on because my common sense tells me that when you're trying to do all of those things, you're going to make compromises so that it can do the other things too. You can't do everything in the one product to perfection. And I think I'm at a point here where this is what it's got to face up against. Because the reason I'd get the Z10E is to challenge this. And I don't think it can do it. And then I looked at the power rating on the amp, and it's 100 watts under what this amp can produce. And the guy who was trying to sell it was telling me that it's a better amp for my carbon than this. And I have a hard time believing that. I have a hard time taking that as gospel, enough to the point where I would shell out money to test it. But I've seen great reviews of the amp too. So, and there's a guy on Stereophile who's using it as his reference amp. And those guys, there's biases and all kinds of stuff wrapped into Stereophile. I get it, and I get the criticism of Stereophile. Nobody said they have bad ears over there. Like, they have good, the guys, the reviewers, they have good ears. They know what they're doing. So, I don't know. I'm on that really wasn't, but it was a risk that I wasn't willing to take. So that was the other thing that I went through this week. I was like, because there's so many deals, man. It was just fun. It was a fun week. I was horse trading all week. I was horse trading and spending money and trying to get money back in here and, with putting some stuff up for sale and hopefully some of it will sell. And, it's exciting. It's exciting. It's an exciting couple of weeks for me. And now the benefit of all of this is that I get to go and show it off to you guys in upcoming episodes on the Director's Garage. So that's going to wrap things up for today. We've got we're losing viewers left. People, there must be dinner time or something, or they're bored of my voice. It's so totally cool. But thank you guys for stopping by this week. We'll do it again next week sometime. Hope I try to shoot for Wednesdays. I enjoy hanging out with you guys. It's always a good time. I respect your guys' opinion on stuff. I like your thoughts. It's always a good time. It's always a good time. You guys are my friends, my personal friends. I love our chats offline as much as I do online. You guys always know how to contact me. You can get me at directorsgarage@gmail.com. That's my email. I'm also posting more and more in the community page. Hit the little bell. You can do the like thing. That would help me out. You can do the subscribe thing if you haven't done that. That would really help me out. And you hit the bell in the corner, and it'll let you know when I post something. And so you can keep up with the community page too. I've been posting a lot there. Some of it nonsense, some of it fun, some of it just like, hey, I'm doing this tonight. And keeping in touch with people. Because I've missed doing the regular show. And now we're going to be getting back to regular shows. I'm going to shoot the next one Friday. Next two on Friday, I believe. So that's what we got going on. Cheers, everybody. I'm going to start the goodbye music. Outro. Play. Oh, yeah, that's the one we like. And I'll be back with new episode next week sometime. At least one new episode next week. I'm going to try for two. I'm going to go for the double. All right, guys. Take care, and I will see you guys before you know it. All right. Now I got to find the switch and all the stuff because nothing's set up for me to sign off. This is so me. Hey, here's some music.